Thanks for checking out the latest real conversation from OJonesMusicFest, a fandom celebration and production of Oh No He Did ENT under the auspices of Cottrell Jones Multimedia. Find us everywhere online at OJonesMusicFest. That's OJonesMusicFest. We're very Googleable. Find us. Bonebreaker Studios, I'm in here and you're out there. Come on in and let's get into a real conversation, shall we? And with whom am I speaking? Today, it's the resident go-to DJ for everywhere ATL on site, like Slingshot, Treehouse, whatever you know, she's there. And online, recently JOINTS N JAMZ, but I won't spoil that. And she's our feature mix master for this year's Jones Music Fest, the incomparable, intimidatingly gorgeous woman, beautiful soul, and cool people. Hot damn, that DJ made my day. DJ Aquarium, welcome AQ. How
Hey,
you do?
what's going on, Oscar?
Did the introduction meet with your approval, ma'am?
Oh man, I'm I'm lost for words. I appreciate it. I love doing what I do. So, sometimes when you just hear the accolades and it just, what can you do?
That's what I know about people who really do the thing. Their heads are down so much that they do the incredible stuff and they're not even looking up to see the incredible stuff. You don't even get your Maximus, are you entertained moment and stuff. You just
Mm,
keep on grinding. But yeah,
yeah, I
we are
mean,
entertained.
I really do appreciate that. I'm all about giving flowers. And on the most part, it's crazy because you're absolutely right. When you get so engulfed, when you're obsessed with something in a sense of what you love to do and your passion, you could be your own worst critic and you're always
Mm.
looking at, what can I do better, than what I did before. So even in my case, what mix how can I improve this mix, or how can I improve this particular technique, or and you definitely get engulfed to the point where like you're not paying attention to maybe some of the, again, the credits and some of the accomplishments that you may have come across within that journey, about enjoying the journey overall. So yeah,
Absolute.
it is when you do have those moments where you do stop and sit back and just look in awe at your accomplishments. I think that's a real beautiful moment. It's a real beautiful thing.
Smooth and humble. Smooth and humble. I like it. Now, I know you as a dope artist and artisan and a dope person, most important. Fans now and in the future who show you love, you show it right back. And that's what O Jones Music Fest is. It's a fandom celebration. We celebrate affinity energy more so than one entity or the other, the artist or the fan. It's that energy in between and stuff. But to have that kind of thing to be celebrating, we got to have balance. You are good at what you do, period, full stop. But you're also good to the people who appreciate what you do. So you're balancing where you could say, yeah, I'm that one. But you don't stop there and just leave it like, you know what, peasant, appreciate me being that one. You're good to the people. And so then you're good on the other side as well. That balancing that, how you balance the love for what you do and for whom you do it. I want you to speak on that for a bit. How do you pull off that balancing act?
For me personally, I don't feel like it's a balancing act because for me, being able to give back and to be able to acknowledge other people and especially give gratitude, it's innate. For me, it is.
Hmm.
So I don't look at it particularly as a balancing act. If it is in a sense, it's more so in terms of just keeping me grounded to the mission at hand, that I'm doing this because, not only for just my love and my passion, but I am doing it for those who truly enjoy the art form and truly want to listen to music in a way that it uplifts them. A lot of times people don't understand, especially as an artist, as a, you know, I guess purveyor, so to speak, that we music is a very powerful tool. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that when you recognize how you can be able to weld it to control, people's emotions and how they move about in their life, that for me, it brings a different meaning to what I do. So whenever I keep that in mind, if you want to say that's the balancing act, that's what keeps me going. That's basically, so if any case, it's more so of a muse for me than a balancing act because
Hmm.
when I have those days where I'm sitting back and I'm like, man, what am I doing? Or like, am I even supposed to do this? I think about those moments of individuals like yourself and
Mm.
good individuals that keep reminding me of what I do and that this is my purpose. So no, I don't think, and even as I grow and become more exposed internationally with my brand, I've been through enough to realize and stay grounded where I don't see myself necessarily going off, if you want to say the ego route of like, oh, well, you peasants. I mean, I've always thought that you treat the peasant as well as you treat the king and vice versa.
That's
So
right.
I, yeah, I think as long as you are good to me and we have a good rapport, I mean, even if we don't have a good rapport, I think it's a respect factor. And overall, I'm just all about just being able to give due respect and just kind of moving along my terms. So I don't look at that. If any case, it is easy to get caught up on on your ego. I mean, when you have people in your ears, and I've had it happen to me before, and it was those moments that when I started relying on validation that I lost the fun of
Mm.
what it is that I love to do. So it's been a process more so for me of let me not pay attention to the validation. It's me versus me in terms of the craft. And as I grow in the craft, the people that support me as such, I mean, I hold true to them because again, they are my muse in keeping and for me to keep going in this journey of mine.
I love that answer. I love having real conversation with real people who really doing the thing. We need more of it. We're gonna get more of it during this talk. But I'm just saying, I'm always in awe of it. This is another in several interviews where we've just knocked it out of the park. And each one has just gotten better and better. I can't tell the last one's that, but this one is gonna be our best,
Oh,
because of answers like that. You're knocking it out the park. I mean, you need the love of the people that they show as a muse for you. It's an upward spiral, it looks like. You show
I,
the love, you put it in your craft, you put it out to the people. Sometimes you looking like, what am I doing this for? Right then, your muse, us, come back, say, you know why you're doing it, because how you touch us. And you take it and say, uh-oh, now I'm finna get you better. And it's just back and forth, just batting that. I feel it.
absolutely. And
Yes.
I think too that when you have individuals that start disconnecting themselves, if you want to say from that source, it's
Right.
because they're focusing on the ones who may not align with what they're putting out there. So it's the equivalent of looking at a comment, and you might have thousands and thousands of positive reviews about something, and you're fixated on that one negative review. And
Right.
how did that person give out that negative review? And again, that taps into the ego, that taps into a place where you're not really conducive and what it is that you are producing yourself to do. So I think it's, again, it's just all perspective. You really do have to keep that in mind and understand in terms of what it is source wise that you're looking at. You might have people that look at if you want to say not necessarily the bandwagon, if they look at individuals and they look at it from a negative standpoint as well, haters drive my fuel, and
Right.
that's all. I mean, I'm not saying there's no right or wrong answer to that because we all, at least in some point of our lives, have gotten to the point where we wanted to prove those people who were doubting us wrong in whatever endeavor that we engage in. However, it's similar to the whole anti-war versus peace rally.
That's
Like,
right.
I would always go for the peace rally
Absolutely.
for sure.
Wow. Okay. I could labor on that, but I got other topics that I want to get into. So the labor in this case is going to be moving on instead of just
For sure. For sure.
absolutely. Now, what I want you to do, a little bit of a existential exercise in here. I want you to step outside yourself for a moment and imagine if you were able to watch yourself walk into a room. Couple of points I want you to cover. What would be your answer to the whispers of others watching you walk in with you? If they leaned over and said, "Who is that?" Now remember, you're not you. You're watching you walk into the room. But if somebody leans over and says, "Who is that?" Think about that. And then what would be your first impression as an onlooker of you walking into a room? And then after the experience, what would be the impression and or lesson that you would want to leave outside of your body here? So you got it? You got what I'm looking for?
Everything you're looking for.
There you go. Give it to me.
First impression,
Uh-huh.
coming into the room, and I would definitely say
Hello.
she's somebody that you need to know. She is a powerful individual.
Yes.
She is definitely someone that you need to get to know. And I don't
Okay.
know why, but you need to know. And she is something that is incredibly special.
Mm,
The impression overall that I personally, time and time again, whenever I step in any room, I don't care if it's a gym, I don't care if it's a club, a stage performance, whatever the case. I'm always leaving the impression that I am extraordinary, that
mm,
I am just a very unique and powerful individual that will move boulders and more with what it is that I'm doing here on this earth,
mm.
for sure.
I
So
like it.
yeah, that would definitely be my impression. And to be honest, I've always looked at myself that way, and I've had individuals throughout my life always come to me and say, I literally, I was at an event maybe about 2, 3 months ago, and I had a gentleman just stop me and just say, you're a very special individual. You're a very
Yes.
individual, and whatever light you have, keep it, keep it because you're very attractive with it. And
Absolutely.
that's those are the type of impressions that I want to leave. Again, I'm all about uplifting and giving out a putting out positive vibrations, and that's that's all I can ask. That's all I can ask for.
I absolutely love that. I mean, if in another context you said that answer, people would say, "Oh, she's full of herself." But there was nothing about your response that took away air from somebody else feeling exactly the way they that you do if they were to watch themselves walk into the room. But
Absolutely.
given your impression, you say, "This is how I want to step. This is how I want to fill a room. And when I leave the room, this is how I want them to feel away." And it took nothing away from anybody else. But as the answers that you were given, solid gold. I was right there like, yup, yup,
Absolute
you want to know her.
perspective. Again, it's when you have those individuals that if they do look at you and you coming in, because there's almost a blurred line between confidence and being cocky. And
True.
if you look at it at that glass in the state of, well, this person is being cocky or whatnot, and they're clearly exuberating something differently, it says a lot more about what you're dealing with internally than what you see in that person. So, or what that person may actually be or be conveying out there in that room. So, yeah, again, I typically, and I'm human, so I'm not saying that I'm not guilty to it. However, it's definitely a working thing every day to make sure that I am focused on the best possible perspective of any situation. And in that particular case with what a person looks at, I mean, you could be Mother Teresa and people will still have, you
Fact.
still have people that have something bad to say about her. So
Fact.
yeah, I mean, it goes back to what we spoke about earlier about just being authentic. As long as you can be your authentic self and you're confident in it, those who know, they'll know. And
Absolute
that,
fact.
that all that matters.
We're continuing on with real conversation with real people, really doing the thing. Jones Music Fest. Find us everywhere online. OJONESMUSICFEST. Google it.com it. Find us. All right, let's get it. So, I want to shift gears just a small bit. You kind of talked about the balancing act of love for what you do and love for people who love you for it. Then you talked about the impressions of you existentially outside of yourself. You walk into a room. How do you see yourself? How would you nudge other people to see what they're seeing, the greatness they're seeing? You talked about how you would fill that room while you were there. And when you left, how you wanted people to feel a way about it. And the whole experience was enriching, wonderful, self-assuring, but not boastful. It was perfect. I want to go into how you become what you are, because that wasn't always. And I haven't known you always, but I know you for a good bit. But we all change over time. The game, life, it changes you. So what I want you to do now, take a couple of snapshots of who you are from day one. When you first say, yeah, I'm gonna step into this AQ. I ain't it, but this is my first step. When you say, I'm DJ AQ. All right. So that's day one. Think about from that point, 3 days, 3 years, maybe 4 years later, day 1001. Talk about the seasoning process and your evolution from day one to 1001. And then let's go all the way to like now, up to last week. We're changing ever. But those three phases, speak with those snapshots as anchors, but talk about your evolution.
You know what? I be quite honest, I am still the hungry, passionate individual that I was since I first fell in love with this art form back when I was a kid. And for me, so there is the growth factor.
Okay.
Early on in my journey, what propelled me, of course, as with any endeavor that I engage in, is the confidence. I knew with fervor that I was going to be great at this and
Mm.
that I was willing to do anything that was required in terms of creating an ethics that would propel me to the heights that I desired and yearned for. So early on, a lot of my focus was basically just to of course learn the basics. I wanted, and I still do in a sense, I want to learn every and anything I could possibly can about DJing within this lifetime of mine. And that hunger was always there. So it was a driving force and me pushing myself to really network. So I would say stage one was a lot of networking, a lot of me putting myself out there in different circles. As a matter of fact, when I got into battling, I had no idea my first battle what to do. I mean, I had to an extent some ideas because of what I seen on YouTube and speaking with a couple other OGs that were engaged in battling back in their heyday. However, I never really had the network until my very first battle, which happened to be the DMC's New York regionals. And I took that trip up there to New York. Like it was actually the last battle of the season, regional battle of the seasons before the finals. And I could have went to a closer regional, but just something propelled me like, no, usually the New York regionals are they're the biggest and you have some of the most renowned turntablists that are there. And I that battle, if you want to say in terms of technicality, was my worst. Like it was
Mm.
I almost didn't even get a chance to play, which was like crushing my heart because I was having issues with my driver and the mixers that they had on site. And I'm just thinking in my head, the months that of practice that I put into this, I just want to get something off, even if I mess up. And I had that opportunity. However, I want to say it was the most important and probably one of the most important focal points for me as a DJ because it opened up my network tremendously. So that particular era and stage when I first started DJing, and when I got into battles, that was maybe about 2, 3 years after I first started DJing. I it was very pivotal for me and how I moved and what developed my style. So as my network grew, and let's say now 3, 4, 5 years into my DJing, now I'm starting to be around folks that I'm just picking up little bits of what they're doing and incorporating it into my style and developing my own style. So I was growing my network, I was growing my presence, still had that same hunger and wanted to just be the optimal version of myself. And I also at this point wanted to make some noise, so to speak. I wanted to start gaining some accolades. And in terms of even like with battling, I started to gain some national recognition. I went to a couple national competitions and placed there. And that got me on the radar on really on an international tip because people from around the world were starting to know who I was. I was starting to put out content and I didn't realize it even at the time, but just me, when I sometimes look back at some of my old footage of just me messing around with something and putting out a little routine, it's just, I'm in awe because, I sit back and I'm like, I didn't have a care in the world. I just wanted people to see who I was and what I could do. And that just all evolved into me being better and better. And in terms of being like business wise with DJing, I've always been very business savvy. So that was something that over time too, with just certain experiences that I had with different events that I was able to learn and navigate through these different scenarios that could occur. So being able to learn your equipment and collecting certain artillery that you need for these events and just, overall being prepared. So all of that has evolved into the individual that I am now, that I at core, still have that hunger. I still feel that there's just so much that I haven't even scratched the surface on that I'm excited to finally get into and be known and just put in everything that I've applied over the last now, wow, I mean, 17, 18 years, because I've again been DJing since I was young. So
Mm-hmm.
I just to see it now come in full circle from stuff that I did as in promotions to me doing delving in a little bit into graphics and visual arts and such. That's all coming 360 into how I'm able to cultivate my brand. And even in terms of my skills, just being able to be that much more attuned to the music and organizing my catalog and practicing and keeping that discipline going so that I can just be the most optimal version of myself. It's been a whole ride, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. I've enjoyed the moments where I've had those lows. I mean, I've had lowest of lows
Mm.
that have tested my will to want to continue the journey. I've wanted to step away from DJing multiple times, and there was always something that pulled me back in. So overall, my love for the craft has superseded everything that I have gone through, and it's why I'm still here. Even if I have those moments where I'm like, what am I doing? It's looking back at that evolution that reminds me, I've come this far, and why not? Why not? Let's keep going.
Absolutely. I hear you. Well, it looks like passion and love has followed you throughout the evolutionary journey. You pick up seasoning and discipline along the way and hone a craft with it. But from day one, if I'm gathering correctly, the love and the passion, and it's still there today.
Absolutely, and
Okay.
the confidence. Like
And the confidence. Okay.
I always knew that I would be one of the greatest DJs to ever hit the the culture to be in this universe. So I still believe that even if I may not even at this moment be looked at it, it's happening. It's happening. And again, I've that confidence has even led me to being acquainted with individuals that I confidently knew that I would be acquainted with. And now I am like formally and, very intimately, acquainted with. And it's just it's a great feeling. It's a testament to everything that I'm believing in and to be able to manifest that and more and to continue manifesting the visions that I have. That confident level is key as well, in addition to the drive, because you can have all the talent in the world, and what I've have is definitely a gift, one of my many gifts that I have. However, if you're not confident, you know, it's just doing disservice to you. And
Act.
it has led the way, has led the way a lot in my evolution.
So continuing our real conversation with O Jones Music Fest, find us OJONESMUSICFEST, O Jones Music Fest, highly Googleable. You can .com it and hit the landing page, or you could just Google, find us, like, share, follow, do the support. We support you, do the support. And we're here with DJ AQ. And I wanted to continue on with yet another sort of lyrical exercise, sort of a conversational exercise. I'll say that.
Okay.
Now, I'm a fan of yours. You know that. I also want you to know that you're a hero of mine. You have demonstrated in the course of our conversation today that you Evolutionary stages aside, have stepped into your super self, self-actualizing. If you think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, after you take care of the food, clothing, shelter, sense of security, human interaction, and belonging, that next thing that you need is to self-actualize. That sense that you are more than what you came here as, and so then that is a superpower because you could certainly just survive and just continue to stay who you are. But it's like you're reaching for more all the time, man. Stuff. The courage to do that, that's the stuff of heroes. So I just wanted to give you a one more flower there.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank
what I want you to impart as a bit of wisdom and you stepping into your super self is thing that makes for a great hero is a great villain. You faced, I know, I bet you faced super villains. Among those, the big one, imposter syndrome,
Oh,
that hesitation. And then after you get started, that regret for taking so long to get going. So then it's like, goodness gracious, okay, I had the confidence. Why didn't I pull the trigger? Now that I pulled the trigger, why it takes so long and why am I behind? Those things show up and say, maybe it's because you're not supposed to be here. And then that is the Lex Luthor. That's the self, that's the imposter syndrome. I think we all fight it, but I think the greats. I remember Mike Tyson recounting that before his first big fight, like I think it was in the Olympics, but it was some fight overseas. He
mm.
was crying in the locker room. This is Iron Mike Tyson,
Yeah, yeah. It was a
and I'm like, what are you crying? What? But there's something inside. You live your whole life in your head. That said, I bet you have some wisdom to impart. And I want you to speak not just to maybe the audience who's listening, but speak to that day one DJ AQ, in that battle and maybe impart a little bit of advice, wisdom, hard earned on how you fight those super villains, as the hero that you are now.
I'm still fighting them.
There you go. Yeah.
We're fighting it every day. Um, wow. Never give up. I I know it's such a cliche. It's such a cliche. I got friends of mine that when I go through my rough patches and they're just like, keep going. And for a long time, I used to detest hearing that because it's like, what if I want to keep going? What if I want to just, be? And that for me is truly the sauce. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. The greatest of greats, we're human just like anything else, like anybody else. And we experience all of those, all of the above, the imposter syndrome, the doubts, the moments where you have certain scenarios that, it's almost like Murphy's Law. Anything and everything that you could imagine that can and go wrong does go wrong. I've
Absolutely.
experienced it all and more. And at at the core, I kept going. The biggest slogan for me, especially this year in particular, because this has been another very important pivot of what I've been doing with my career. And I've been saying this since January. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't. And it's okay not to know what you're doing. I actually, in terms of looking back, and if I was to tell my day one in terms of keep going and just do it. There's not a right way, there's not a wrong way. As a matter of fact, again, I look back to my younger, you know, less evolved versions of myself, and I see that the rawness in terms of what it is I envisioned for myself, that prevailed everything. And that is what led me to where I'm at now. And it's those moments where you could look back and you're like, wow, I just put that out there just to put myself out there, and it worked, and
Mhm.
that's all that's all it takes. Just keep going and just enjoy the journey. You know, I, what also couples with imposter syndrome, at least for me, is the fact that you're so destination bound. And I believe that's a lot of us. We're so fixated on what the destination is that we do not enjoy the journey to get there.
Mm.
And our attention span, as a matter of fact, it's like the law of diminishing return. Once you reach a certain level of success, or you attain whatever success or goal it is that you was pushing for, it's like you throw that out the window and it's like, all right, what I got to do to get to the next level from there. So it's a never ending thing. I look at even a lot of documentaries when you hear about these athletes. Like, I'm a huge NBA fan, so I look at these docs where you have these players that won multiple championships, and when you ask them, like, how did you feel after your first championship? And they're like, I feel great. I feel amazing. I felt like this day would never come, or it would always come, and it's finally here. And then a week later, they're already worried about winning next year's
That's
championship. So
right.
you don't even get to really enjoy all the fruits of your labor because you're so fixated on just the destination and not the journey. And then when you do hear about these players and you look back and you're like, man, I honestly just wish that I would, I would have taken a moment to enjoy more of those accomplishments that I made. And that's that's where I'm at, in the sense where I still know I have a lot of accolades. I mean, again, I have not scratched the surface of what it is that I plan on accomplishing and that I'm manifesting even at this moment. However, what has helped me even be more active and confident in this journey is just enjoying it, being able to enjoy the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that's involved in it, because essentially I know that it's building me up to me being able to handle those higher levels that I look for myself, so that when I do finally get those accolades and everything I've been desiring, there's always something that comes with it, like new level, new devil. So I'm prepared for those moments. I'm able to have that thicker skin to be able to know how to handle certain situations and things that come with the territory. So I'm really enjoying the process a lot more, and being able to just just be me, and just, again, like I said, just do it, keep going. Like, I'm gonna keep doing this and keep going until my last breath. Like, it's that deep for me.
I like it. So let me see if I'm getting it. It looks like you got three major points here that'll kind of help you beat back the supervillains. You got the gumption to keep going. No matter what, keep going. And while you're going, it's not all drudgery. You can acknowledge your wins and your accomplishments thus far and even celebrate them. The audacity to
Hmm.
celebrate the championship that you just won and
Hmm.
not be so fast to look down the road to the next one, but really savor the flavor of the taste of winning. When you get it, celebrate that win. Those things, rather than being self-serving for the ego, sounds like they're almost like shielding, a la Captain America, because you said new level devils. I can't believe I've never heard anybody use that. I can't believe that I don't know a song. I don't know if you got bars in you, but I know you can scratch a wiggy wiggy rub something
Oh, yeah.
and put some bars up on top of that, or find somebody that can.
Hmm.
And yeah, New Level Devils. Yeah.
That part right there, that
Ooh, that's
it
already bars.
does not escape any of us. And that
Mm,
is, at the end of the day, we all repeat, like we all go through those same encounters. When you look at, in terms of even money issues, like, I mean, to be honest, hey, Big said it best, more money, more problems. Like,
fact. Yeah.
just it don't stop just because you may have acquired more wealth or more, um, I guess you could say, privilege and power in a sense. You don't, that don't necessarily mean that things are going to be easier. As a matter of fact, it's like, no, you have even more of a target on your back. And it's the journey that prepares you for that. It's the journey that, when you look at somebody like that, they're performing at the highest level of whatever their respective field is. And you might wonder, like, man, they may not have a heart, or man, they're just able to, no, they're human. They're human. They just have, with everything that they've encountered throughout their journey, they have prepared for that moment. They've prepared to. So even when I look again, going back to the NBA, like I look at Jason Tatum, like he's one of my favorite players in this modern day NBA era, and I've seen his journey from college and how people were down to him from there, and to see his growth. And he finally won a championship. He won a gold medal all in the same year. And people still had stuff to criticize with him. And the thing is, he knew that that came with the territory. And at this rate, it was like, okay, all that you're doing is just prepping you for those bigger devils that are there ready to lurk and come at you when you reach a certain height. And it's I mean, again, we it don't escape anyone. I think it's just all comes down to perspective and how you handle those devils. And that that training field is going to practice. It is going to help develop you into where that type of individual that you need to be, so that you know how to handle those obstacles in those situations. So, it goes right back to just enjoying the journey, because I look back and everything that I've been through has prepared me. Like, I can move differently. We all still have issues. I still encounter certain issues, and I'm like, man, I don't know where this next thing is going to come through. And I know how to navigate and maneuver those situations a lot better than how I did, or how I thought I do back, like even like 2, 3 years ago. So it's always evolution. It's always understanding that everything that's happening is happening for you, not to you. And it's all there to conspire for what it is that you truly envision yourself in the landscape that you're creating for yourself. And I'll definitely be the last parting words I would say that I would love to leave, at least with this interview.
Yeah. I mean, it's good stuff, especially the enjoying the journey. Can't forget that. I mean, even when the next level devil might seem to have the upper hand, if you haven't taken the time to have something that you could reach back and say, you know what, I'm of worth. I've done some things. I've celebrated some things. And remember that good time? That makes it harder. You don't have that shielding.
Mhm.
But I think that wisdom that you're dropping right here, that's some real conversation. So, folks, real conversation, real people doing real things. That's DJ AQ with us at O Music Fest here. I did want to see if I could get another word of wisdom from you and stuff. Now, I talked about you as my hero. Um, I would have to say that among the heroes that I give acknowledgement to, my mom, rest in peace, was the ultimate hero.
Mhm.
She was a person of faith. and she mused on her favorite Bible verse, the first part actually of Psalm 46:10. The New International Version begins, "Be still and know that I am God." It's a pretty popular verse, but she would break it down. Like she get all the juice and the wisdom, and that's just part of the verse. She'd be like, "Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still." And then sometimes when all else fails and all you can do is endure, you just be. And the wisdom that she would always like bring that verse up and stuff, it obviously echoed with me long after she's gone and stuff like that. Now, I think that along the way, if it's from a Bible, a Quran, a Bhagavad Gita, the daily newspaper, wherever you get it, your favorite book. Um, I'm not picky about where such deep, earthy wisdom comes from. I wonder if you have a saying, that guides you, and if you could share it with us. Somebody might need to borrow it.
Um, I say I would leave with this, the serenity prayer. That's something that I was always taught from when I was younger,
Mm.
to, to, accept who I am and all my qualities, to change whatever I can, and to, know the difference between what I can and cannot change. And that has been my mantra throughout life. So I would say the serenity prayer, it's it's helped me to navigate to where I understand how I can move about in a certain situation, and know that at the end of the day, I'm protecting myself, protecting my own peace. And yes, that's all you can really ask for, pursuit of happiness. That's all you can really ask for. So that prayer has has helped me.
So then that's the one that's like, grant me the wisdom to change the things that I can, accept the things that I can't, and to know the difference. Is that the serenity one?
That is that
There
is.
you go. That's a good one.
Mhm.
I think that you save yourself a whole bunch of head knocking if you understand that that mountain is there. It's going to be there. Stop wasting your time on that. Either go around it or get to climb it. That's a more effective use of your time.
That's it.
Yeah, because then you can change your station. You can change where you are. It's just not going to be by knocking the mountain over.
Mhm.
I love wisdom. Okay, so now that's some relatable advice. The combination of that, the action words through the wisdom of a wise saying that you rely on, and also your evolutionary journey, the lessons that you learn and would impart for facing those super villains, that imposter syndrome and stuff. Those two powerful weapons here. So you got some good advice going on facing evils, and we're thinking esoteric evils. If you have concrete evils and you want the platform and you can blame Oscar and say that I made you say it, but there's an ambiguous they that sometimes gets in your way. It could be principalities, it could be the industry, Rule 4080, or it could be some specific janky promoters or whatever and stuff. Hey, tell me, were you ever blocked from, your blessing, even temporarily, by a they? And if you want to, name them. If you don't, I understand. But I think everybody has, like you mentioned, those haters or that thing that gets in your way.
You know
Name,
what? I've
yeah.
learned that, you know, whatever is meant for you is meant for you, and whatever timing that blessing is meant for you, it's meant for you. I It's taken me a while. Don't get me wrong, I've definitely have encountered certain obstacles where, I may have, wanted certain opportunities, and they may not come back to me in the particular way that I envisioned it for myself. However, I understand now as an individual that there's, you know what, what's meant for you is meant for you. What's not is not. So I don't tend to focus on the haters like that. If any case, when you do recognize that you have those individuals, again, it's cool. Like this, Earth is 6 billion strong and counting.
Absolute.
And, I'm not gonna have someone or something live rent free and, deter me from what it is that I'm doing. If I can't go through the front door, there's a back door, there's a side door, there's a window. There's always a will or way. So, I mean that, and it goes right back to what I said earlier about the serenity prayer. Once you understand that wisdom of knowing what it is you can and cannot control, um, you move differently. You move differently, and that's honestly just what it is. I don't honestly pay mind to the haters like that. I don't. I mean, I won't, I'd be remiss to say that it doesn't bother me. I am definitely human. However, it goes right back to perspective of how you handle that energy. And for me, I use that energy to propel me into right back into the regimen that I've developed for myself to be the best version of myself. And so that I can prove to myself who it is that I desire to be. And that's really what it is at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And that's what's up. That's some real conversation.
Mhm.
Let that they just be an ambiguous they, dismiss them. It's like, all right, that's you, that's your journey over there. And borrowing words from the great big pun, rest in peace. Go that way.
That's it. That's it.
Let it go. Let's say go that way, man. I'm too busy celebrating, moving forward, looking for next level devils and taking them down.
That's it.
Well, now at this point, I would ask what's up, but I actually want to know what's now. This is where you get to tell us, what do you want us to know? What do you want us to celebrate? What's coming up that you can share? Because I mean, I know some things probably still on lock top secret. And
Mhm.
then let us know what we can do to support.
Yeah, I have several things that are going on right now. As we mentioned earlier, I have my new live stream show, Joints and Jams, that it broadcasts every Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. And that's basically my outlet to be the full creative version of myself that I am. I play anything and everything as long as it's great music, as long as it's great vibes. You definitely will enjoy it. I am also starting a series called A Quick Mashup.
Oh,
Mashups is the thing. There's definitely varying opinions about it as of late. However, I've been doing mashups since before it was a thing. So this little series of mine is just me putting out the crazy combinations that I've had and that I've worked on and that I just, want people to see and know that there's a different way to listen into a particular track. And that series is going to be basically all throughout my socials. So whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or I'm sorry, X now, it's going to be throughout my social webs. And other than that, I have a current residency at Slingshot Social Game Club,
that's right.
which is in Midtown off of North Marietta Street. It is a fun venue. I spend there every Saturdays, and it is a very fun venue. It's like Dave and Buster's, but more. We have the live music, we have arcade games, we have boards. So I definitely invite anybody that's in the Atlanta area to come through, experience, check it out. And other than that, it's basically it. I mean, I'm still out here making moves, still out here pushing myself to be better. And yeah, I would just say stay tuned. There's greatness in store.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Now, that's the stuff that you're doing, and I know that you are an army of one. I've witnessed it. I don't think anybody would like deny it. But generally, there are some unsung heroes on everybody's journey. And we talked about the hero's journey, your hero's journey. Are there any shout outs that you'd want to give? You know, somebody who either we should know about, maybe somebody up and coming that might not be directly affiliated, or if there's somebody like, oh, I couldn't have done this without X, without the inspiration of, without the spiritual guidance of, without the hookup, the advice, anything. You know, you kick some of your the people who are along with you on this hero journey, the unsung heroes, sing about them.
My whole tribe, my whole tribe. There's too many people to name within my tribe. How-
Gotcha.
they all know who they are, and they have been everything and more. They've been very instrumental in keeping me going and keeping me here. And I couldn't do any of this without them. And again, when I say my tribe, it extends so deep. It extends from my, you know, beloved blood family to my best of friends to my industry friends and constituents to even just, you know, everybody along the way that have contributed in some shape or form, whether it was seasonally or on a more permanent basis. I'm here because of them. So I give a big shout out to my tribe. You know, again, they all know who they are. I love y'all.
Absolutely. I think even more important than running a list and dropping a name or two, it's important that you tell them. And I get the feeling that you the type that'd be like, yeah, let me spin the block and tell this one this one that, let them know that
Absolutely,
they are part of the tribe.
absolutely. Oh, they know it. They know it.
Sweet.
Like undeniably, undeniably. So again, like that's why I say they all know who they are. I, I stay in gratitude, so they all understand in what capacity they've helped me, and you know that's all I ever want to leave with them, to know that I am thankful for them being in my life in the way that they are. So yeah, yeah. Big shout out to my whole church.
I will echo the sentiment. Big shout out to the whole Aquamana tribe, or I don't know if you tag them with that name, but
Mhm,
every all tribe that support DJ AQ,
mhm.
me too. So I feel you, and I want to thank you because I'm sure she's not the same person without your support to this point, and stick with her because y'all got more stuff to do.
Absolutely.
I would say also, before we run out of time, I want you to tell us because you mentioned the socials, you mentioned the Twitch, but give us like some spell it out. How do we find you so that we can follow you? Because I want you to follow O Jones Music Fest. You need to follow DJ Aquaria. I'll make that distinction. Tell
No.
us how.
Oh, oh no, no, no. Don't say that. No, I mean, I know you have a very strong platform as well, Oscar, and no, I highly, highly encourage everybody to follow him because again, like you tap into um a gems of music that I've
Mm,
artists that I didn't even know about that I'm like, wow, okay, I need to start getting my ear out about them. So, no, big ups to you and what you're doing here.
thank
It's
you.
a movement, and I'm looking forward to big things, to seeing big things come out of it.
Thank you.
You can find me across the board, DJ Aquaria, Aquaria, anywhere across the interwebs, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, Facebook, wherever, Mixcloud, SoundCloud, just type in DJ Aquaria and you will find me. I do also have my different brands. You can follow Joints and Jams, my new live stream and movement. It's going to be at Joints and Jam, ITS, Joints JOINTS N as in the letter N as in nail, jams, and that's with a Z, JMZ. So you can find that across Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and finally, Twitch. Well, Twitch is going to be my DJ Aquaria handle. However, other than that, yeah, you can just find me and find me on your next tip. I'm out here. I'm
Absolutely.
growing internationally, world renowned. So international Q. I'm here. I'm ready for it.
International Q.
Hmm.
I like it.
Oh.
Hey, okay. You dropped a whole bunch of gems. And folks, if you need to review, you can rewind because you got to do some work around here. She done laid the gold at your feet.
You know,
So do some work, catch up and keep up. I guarantee it's one other place you'll always find AQ. And it's gonna be with O Jones Music Fest. I was locked in before, and I know a guy, so I'll make sure that he knows, keep her locked in every year going forward. And that mix that she's done that I haven't put up yet, but when I put it up and y'all tell me how dope it is, you gotta tell me. I
let
already knew. I got to hear it. Well, I got to hear it second. She heard it first, but I got to hear it second, and I was blessed. You will be blessed. And as a result of this time that we spent together, we have been blessed. Thank you for showing up and really showing us what real conversation is about. AQ, thank you for showing up for us.
Nah, thank you, Oscar, for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure.
I want to thank the listeners out there for checking out this latest real conversation from OJones Music Fest, a fandom celebration and a production of Oh No He Did ENT under the auspices of Cottrell Jones Multimedia. You can find us everywhere. Us and AQ, everywhere. OJONESMUSICFEST. Put the .com behind it and you got us. Or you can go to all of the socials everywhere. We O Jones Music Fest. I'm O Jones. Thank y'all for tuning in and listening.
Peace.